The database, the lifeblood of businesses all over the world. It may also be said that the database could very well be the bane of existence for IT organizations, for all of those businesses all over the world. Managing clones, provisioning new instances, patching, upgrading, all the maintenance activities that go along with running these critical systems have proven to be a significant burden for years and years. At Nutanix, we've developed a solution to this problem. Let me show you a little bit of what Nutanix Era can do for IT organizations. Let's take a look at provisioning a brand new database with Nutanix Era. Here I am on the Era main dashboard. I'm going to flip over to databases, and I'd like to provision a new Oracle database. I'm going to go to sources, provision, Oracle. We're going to provision a single instance. I'm going to call my VM Era demo video. Self-explanatory. Select a software profile. I will select a compute profile and a network profile. After selecting the various profiles, I'll go ahead and specify my public key for authentication. In this case, I'm going to upload a file. I also have the option of pasting that in. Go to upload my public key. Go next. Give my database a name. Description. SID. Specify a password. And here is information relative to specifics, size of the database, recovery area, etc. I'll select a profile. Default Oracle parameters are out-of-the-box params. I'll click Next. And here I will define the time machine for my new database. This is the automatic backup solution integrated into Era. And for this demonstration, I'll leave the defaults in place. Actually, I'll go ahead and set this up for 6 snapshots per day. This should make for good video after this one. Daily snapshots at 3 p.m. And all of that looks good. Maybe I'll give my time machine a name, or a description, I should say. And note that everything that we do in Era is available via the API. This little button down here will give you the code necessary to plug into your automation solution of choice. So we've got the JSON payload here, along with a script that you can use anywhere. Go ahead and extend my Era session. I've been recording too long, apparently. But yeah, I can choose my code type, all sorts of options here. Very, very extensible. Go ahead and close this, and I'll provision my database. All right. So in just a few steps, we've kicked off the provisioning process. We can keep tabs on it in the operations pane. Go ahead and click that. And we can see its progress here down below. We've got a provision database activity underway. It's been going for 9 seconds, and that'll progress through to completion. You can see that we've got other operations that have completed earlier today. We had a database clone activity. You can check the stats of that. Took about 10 minutes. We had a previous database provisioning activity. Another Oracle database. Took about 20 minutes to do that. And that completed successfully. So really functional, extremely productive way to manage the provisioning of databases in the environment. So that's how easy it is to provision a brand new database. Doesn't matter, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, Postgres, MySQL, MongoDB, and the list grows as time goes on. Now let's take a look at the cloning operation for a particular database. In a previous video, we looked at the steps required to provision a new database. What about the scenario where we need to clone a database? Let's take a look at how we do that using Nutanix Era. Go to my menu. I'm going to go over to Time Machines. And if you recall, a time machine gets created for every database that we provision using Era. And this is our automated, scheduled backup solution for databases. So I'm going to pick one of these. I'll go ahead and choose the MySQL database. You notice that once I check the radio button here, the Actions menu becomes available. I'll click on Actions, and I'm going to elect to create a clone of MySQL instance. So go ahead and do that. And this will give me a dialog showing me all of the available snapshots for this database. So I'll go ahead and select one of these. I want a clone of this, and I'll click Next. I'm going to create a new server for this snapshot. I'll select a compute profile. Small should be fine. Select a network profile for this snapshot. Upload my public key for authentication purposes. Click Next. Specify a password. Select a parameter profile. And I could go ahead and clone this, but I want to show you some additional options. First and foremost, I can specify a removal schedule. So let's say I want this clone to be in effect for 5 days. I can do that. I can also specify a data refresh regimen. So let's say I want to refresh this every day for that 5 days. I can do that as well. And like you saw in the previous video, there is an API equivalent for this operation. Number of languages, the choice is up to you. Go ahead and clone that, and that'll kick off the process. We now have 2 active operations. We can check on their status by clicking that little blue button. And we can see that our clone database activity for our MySQL database is 3% complete. It's been active for 10 seconds, and its progress will unfold here. That previous provision database operation, about 2% complete. We can click on the radio button to check on its status here. There are a number of out-of-the-box profiles ready to go. If for whatever reason none of the defaults suit your scenario, it's super easy to create your own. Now let's take a quick look at what it takes to create a few of these profiling mechanisms. Throughout the previous videos, you've seen me select a number of profiles as I've gone through the provisioning process or cloning process. In the event that there isn't an existing profile that suits your needs, like everything in Era, it's super easy to create your own. Going to the menu and choose Profiles. Here are a list of different software profiles. We have compute profiles, network profiles, default database parameters, Windows specific domain criteria. Let's assume that we wanted to create a different software profile for Oracle as an example. Click Create, choose Oracle, specify a software profile for a single instance database, and give the profile a name. Description if I'd like, software version profile description. Got the Era cluster to which this will belong. And I can select a template here. I'll go ahead and choose the Oracle DB. Well, I'll choose Ron's DB. We'll go next. If I want to specify any operating system notes here, I can do that. And as well as database software notes for people coming behind me to review or make use of the work. And again, there is an API equivalent for these operations, your choice of languages. Go ahead and close that. Create my software profile. That's being created, and shortly that should become available. Like everything else, I can check on the status of these operations here, and that new profile creation is about 3%, 20% complete. Database clone is still underway, as well as the provisioning process for my new Oracle database. So, I ask you, take just a moment and think about what it takes for you to provision databases today. Provision, clone, backup, snapshot, restore. How time consuming is it? How many people does it involve? How much storage does it consume? And then compare that with the snippets you just saw. Database provisioning in just a few clicks. Automated backup solution as a part of the provisioning process. The ability to clone in just a short period of time. Profiling for multiple database engines. I think you'd agree, Nutanix Era, pretty cool, yet productivity promoting stuff. For more information, contact your account team, visit nutanix.com/era, and check out more.